Welcome to the Turn 2 podcast. I'm Scott Kornberg with my good friend Troy Johnston. Awesome episode for you guys today. It is our mailbag, our third mailbag. I think this is the best questions we've got yet. So I'm really excited, Troy, to get your thoughts on some of these. And they're all over the map. Some of them are serious. Some of them are like really hypothetical, but I do think they will get us thinking. So I'm excited about that. Huge thank you to everyone who submitted questions. We got a ton this time around. So really appreciate that. Also want to note we are recording this on Saturday, March 21st. So this episode will come out about 4 days after that. But I do want to say that we are recording this before anything is finalized in terms of rosters and stuff like that for opening day. I know that some of the questions maybe could veer into that realm. So did want to mention that off the cuff. Also would like to mention that we are presented by Jack's Implants and Dentures. They are led by former Georgia baseball player Dr. Alex McCray and his partner Dr. Spencer Russell. Visit jacksimplants.com to let this hometown practice make your smile a home run. Troy, are you ready for our first question?
I'm so ready. I'm so excited ever since we started doing thought of this that I can't wait to hear these questions.
They were good. And you know how I said we're going to veer into the hypothetical?
Always.
I wanted to start here, and this is anonymously submitted. This anonymous person had two questions. One would be, who is your favorite left-handed relief pitcher whose name starts with the letter J to play with or against, and also commentate for both of you during your careers? So maybe we'll start there. Anyone come to mind with that?
That is such a specific and interesting question. I think only one person really comes to mind when you get asked a question like that, and it's got to be our super fan Josh Simpson,
Has to be. I
right?
wonder
It's got
who anonymously asked this, though.
and who would put it anonymously? Like that's even more creative.
It's very
Of all the
creative.
questions, it's even more creative.
It is. So whoever that was really was trying to jog our memory. They also asked this. So this has nothing to do with Josh Simpson, and maybe they were listening to the end of the last episode when you gave Josh a shout out, so they wanted to also give him a shout out. But Anonymous asked if you had the ability to dispense a liquid from each finger on your hand, which liquids would you pick and why? In other words, you would be able to utilize these liquids whenever you want, i.e., water from your thumb, coffee from your pointer finger, etc.
So I'm gonna limit it to one hand. Let's say
One
like
hand.
let's
Yeah.
but one hand. I could do top five. Do you want to start with this one? What would you say your top five liquids would be?
See, I drink water almost exclusively. So water's got to be pointer
So there you
finger,
go. You
right?
got thumb.
Oh, thumb. Okay, we can
Oh,
go with
pointer
that.
finger. Okay. All right.
Put pointer finger. Um, then I guess like I like orange juice. So orange juice would be one of those. Maybe orange juice
That's good. That's
um
good.
would be my I'm gonna go orange juice with my ring finger, right? Like middle finger, I feel like you need something kind of brash. So won't don't want to go to the middle finger very often. I don't use my middle finger. I haven't used my middle finger for anything. I would say in the last maybe like half decade or longer. So um, something I'm not going to go to a lot. So maybe like my favorite beer. Like if I need something to like get me off
Oh, there
the
you go.
edge. So
Yeah.
something like Wooden Robot, Good Night or Good Morning Vietnam. Great beer, great brewery in Charlotte. So that'd be my middle finger. Kind of like, okay, I'm not gonna ever use this, but it's there if I need, maybe a drink after a long game or something like that. Then I was telling you this morning, I'm trying to get into
Pinky. Yeah.
coffee. Pinky. So, something small. I haven't utilized this a ton. I'm trying to get into coffee and the so because it's like something that's fairly new and something small in my experience, I just tried the Costco frozen or the iced coffee like caramel flavor. It was very good. So like, maybe I had that there for a shot. And then I do like an Arnold Palmer, like a nice like thumb drink if I ever want something non-water. That'd be my five. What about you?
There you go. I think I agree with you. I think with the thumb, I have to go water. I think that's like you need water to survive. Number two, I think I'm going to go with a glass bottle Coca-Cola. So like real sugar, like all that, not the high fructose corn, real sugar. I'm going to go there. Middle finger, I am going to get a little interesting, kind of following your suit, but I am going to go red wine because it's a hard toss up for me between red wine and bourbon, but I think red wine will be a lot more
Nice.
useful for me. I really enjoy that. My ring finger, that's going to be my coffee. My vanilla maple syrup lattes. That's going to be on this finger. And then the last one's kind of tough because it's kind of like I could go anywhere. Um, I'm trying to think of like if we're talking like a crazy liquid. I think with this one, I'm gonna go like Mario Kart oil slick. I'm gonna put oil out of this one. So like if I'm driving and somebody's tailgating me too soon, I'm gonna just spin them out. Just stick a little out the window, and Mario Kart style with a little like oil spill.
Yeah. That's how you know that you and Griffin and Josh Simpson have played a lot of Mario Kart. And Jake Mangum played a lot of Mario
And
Kart games.
Monte Verde too.
That's nice.
Yes,
All
lot
right.
of yes.
I also want to note for our listeners, we're recording this while Cosmic Baseball is playing at the Jumbo Shrimp Ballpark, and my son, who's
Oh
5 years
yeah.
old, is to the left of me, and he keeps hitting the button for this bobblehead. So if you hear anything in the background, it's Buck O'Neill singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" because he loves that bobblehead. All right, next question. I thought this was a good one. This is from Jennifer in Des Moines. So really cool. By the way, thanks to Anonymous for those awesome questions. Got the gears turning, I think, for both of us. She asked, what is the one thing fans often miss when they watch a game live?
Ooh,
That's a great
great.
question.
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah. How about I'll start this one then. I think what the fans miss live is the things that like players think about. Like we are like kind of coaches out there as well. So like we're looking at, a breath. We're looking at, the timing to steal a base. We're looking at, hey, this might be a good time to bunt. We need to hit a runner over, like all the little intricacies. Like you wouldn't see that. You come to a game as a fan and you want to see home runs, you want to see, a 100-mile-an-hour pitch, you want to see all these kind of things. But the little intricacies are really what you'll miss and the tells, and that's really what we work on as baseball players versus just, going out there and trying to hit a home run every at bat.
I like that. I have something similar but different. So I think that when people
Ooh,
go
good.
to a game, like in between a pitch, they're just maybe looking at their phone or just wondering what's going on. I think there's little baseball things that people have no idea unless you're a huge fan or you played the game at a high level that they're happening. And my favorite one is when a batter comes to the plate for the first time and they tap the shin guards of the catcher and the umpire on their walk to the batter's box. I don't think people realize that's happening, but that is one of my favorite things to look for every single day.
And it's usually always the first batter of the game, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't see it a lot in like the eighth batter, the ninth batter, unless you know them. I'll say hello or something like that. But yeah, I that's a really good little caveat there.
Yeah. So next time you
Nice.
watch a
Okay.
baseball game, like look at look to see if the batter does that their first time to the plate. Um, other thing like the little
Yeah.
things like if a catcher gets hit by the ball and they're a little bit, wobbly or whatever, batter maybe hurts their oblique or something like that, and the umpire will go out and walk the ball to the pitcher and brush the plate just to give a few extra seconds. I love
Yeah. Give
stuff
him
like
some
that.
time. Yeah. Yeah. Little things like that. I think that's great. Good answer, Scott. I like that.
I like yours too. Great question, Jennifer. Next question that we have, kind of similar, would be on almost exactly what you had just answered that question, Troy, of like, hey, you don't really know necessarily like the little things of what players are thinking almost in their head. This is from Matt in North Carolina, and he asked about Troy note taking. what is the note-taking process when you're facing an opposing pitcher? And then he asked for Scott, broadcast-wise, what kind of note-taking are you doing for stats and stories? So I'll let you go first, but I thought that kind of played into your answer really nicely that you just gave to Jennifer.
So honestly, that's probably this is the epitome of why we do the podcast. This is like to give the nitty gritty on baseball that when a fan shows up, you would never ever think about, but it's so routine for us, so like part of our daily lives that this is the stuff we love talking about. This is perfect. I love this question. One of the things that I do for note taking, so I keep a notebook of like swing thoughts and different things that I'm working on because I'm kind of I like to try to be as dumb as I possibly can when I get in the box and forget about all of my swings, my stance, everything like that. It's hard. It really is. It's hard, but like I try to forget about those things and I have new feels all every day, try to see what's working. But the note taking part is very interesting. So I look at a couple different things. First off, I look at the velocity of the fastball. Then I see what the fastball is doing. Is it cutting? Is it riding? Is it sinking? Is it two seaming? It can go all different ways. Does he have more than one kind of fastball? And then what is his majority off speed to left-handed hitters?
Hmm.
So like what is he trying to do to attack you and where do I need to look? So like let's say in a three, I've had a couple where it's like a 3-2 count and he's 100% changeup or 100% slider or 100% fastball. That's really good information for me to know if I get into that count, I'm looking for one pitch and one pitch only instead of trying to battle off three pitches. So those kind of note taking and those kind of like process is really, really important for me when I'm looking at a scouting report and trying to dominate the day and dominate the pitcher.
I like that. I think it's for broadcasting, it's similar, right? You want to be prepared for any single situation. And so for me, I have a program on my computer called Microsoft OneNote. You can make a notebook for really whatever you want, but I make one per team. So I have Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp, I have Miami Marlins, I have Charlotte Knights, and then I have a couple tabs. So I have a tab for pitchers in each team and a tab for position players, also a tab for coaches. And then in the pitchers, it's pretty obvious. I have a page for every single pitcher. And in that, you can combine, or you could take screenshots of like their baseball reference or their Fangraphs page and drag them in. You could write your own notes. You could copy and paste, obviously. So, like one of the neat things I try to do is that I want every player so that if Troy Johnston is batting, I don't have to remember every single thing you've ever told me, right? I could take little nuggets we've done from an interview. I could take something like an interaction that I thought was really funny, and I could put it in as a note that I could refer to back later on. So that's one thing I use to kind of have general stories on each player, general sort of factoids on each player. And then for that night's game, I have a scorebook, and actually I can go get it if you want to see it. But the scorebook itself is tailored to literally that game itself. So it's all color coded. I have each team in there. Let me go get it real quick, Troy.
I
And
like this. I like this. Give the visuals. That's why we do it on video. That's why we do
yeah,
video.
so yes, if you're listening, you can watch this on YouTube. So let me, I'm gonna pull up like a Marlins game I did last year, just because I know like Major League Notes, there's plentiful of those. So I know like, okay, for this game I had a bunch of stuff. So this is a Miami Marlins and Tampa Bay Rays game. And so this is like the Marlins lineup. I've got under each guy streaks just because I feel like my philosophy is that I could pretty easily pull up their season stats right on my computer right in front of me. But it's really easy to be like in the middle of the action. Well, I wonder if Xavier Edwards is really hot right now. And so I could write under Xavier Edwards that in the 5 games off the injured list, he's 7 for 15 with a bunch of extra base hits. Obviously, I do that on the Rays side as well. And then all the little notes that kind of fill out my book are more team related. For example, the top one here, sadly, for Marlins fans, Marlins have lost 5 in a row and 11 of 15. One more loss would match their longest skid of the season. And it talks about they haven't scored all that much during this streak, things of that nature that I could refer to during the game. And then the last thing I do is I color code everything so that I could pretty easily refer to if whoever is starting on the mound and they're striking out a lot of people, I know to look for the pink so I could pretty quickly figure out, hey, this is their fifth strikeout. Or I do hits in yellow, RBIs are green because they get you money, walks are blue because they leave you blue, hit by pitches obviously a purple for the bruise that can come. Errors are orange because the ball gets dirty. Wild pitches and pass balls are red because they leave you red with rage. So I have like a funny little thing for everything that I could easily refer to during the game.
I love. Oh my goodness, I didn't know you did that. That is awesome.
Really?
No, I had no idea. Seriously. This is why we talk these kind of things. This is why these questions come up, is so that we can talk about these. I had no idea you had the color coding. Like, that's awesome.
Okay. Well, yeah, I just try to make it easy. And it's stuff that I've taken from other people. You
Hmm.
probably have done the same thing. People who mentor me, other major league broadcasters who are very successful, there's little things I've taken from them. The OneNote idea, the idea to use color. On the top of my scorebook, it says smile, relax, and have fun. Eric Nadel, who's a Hall of Fame broadcaster for the Texas Rangers, told me he's done that in every single scorebook for the last several decades. And I'm like, if it's good enough for him and he's in the Hall of Fame, that's a great reminder to me because you talk differently if you're smiling versus if you're very, very just serious facially. It's a factoid kind of thing. So yeah, you just try to take things that other people who you admire and who you think are really smart could try to help you later on.
I love that. That's great.
All right, next question that we've got. Um, let's go with there was a lot of people, Troy, and I think you'll like this, who commented about how they were really excited for your opportunity in Colorado. I do want to shout out this person because they are a listener from Taiwan,
Oh,
Mia
nice.
space underscore art on Instagram. And she said, hello, Troy. I'm your big fan from Taiwan. You're the future star of Colorado, rooting for you. We had Drew underscore deck 26 in a similar vein. First time, long time listener, first time asking a question, long time listener. Troy, what is the biggest difference you've seen from changing organizations? I just thought it was great sentiment for one, and obviously a really cool question for the other.
I mean, thank you guys so much for the support. We love it and we love the listeners of the podcast. This is why we do it, so that we can connect with you guys and, give you a couple stories here or there that you can go and talk about. But absolutely awesome. My time in Colorado, I'm really, you know, excited. It's hard to get a grasp on it because the season hasn't started. Spring training is very different. Very um, People are trying new stuff, trying new positions, trying new swings, trying new pitches. So it's very different from the season. So I'm trying to get a better grasp on what it's actually going to be. But overall, it's still baseball. You still have to hit the ball. You still have to play defense. You still have to, mesh with the guys. You still have to, be likable, be coachable. So as much as like things change, and of course I'm in a different state, different team, different stadium, it's still baseball, and it's still go out there and try to win every single game. And that's kind of what the Rockies are getting towards is we're trying to win at all costs. So it's still baseball.
I love that you've said this many times, and I'm presuming that it is a message from the organization that listen, we lost 119 games last year, but we want to win. We're going to do whatever it takes to win, no matter how competitive our organization is, no matter what other people think. I just think that's a great message. That's the one you've got to have, regardless of what outside projections and fans and media might say. You have to try to make it a positive culture, especially for all these new people who are running your guys' organization.
Yeah, I think it's a big part. And honestly, those are great questions. I love it. So thank you guys so much. And listeners from afar and first time asking a question, like thank you guys so much for reaching out and being a part of this.
I thought it was awesome. So we've had questions from Iowa, North Carolina, um,
Taiwan.
Taiwan. I believe Drew might be from Jacksonville, but I'm not sure. Anonymous, not quite sure. They might be from, the West Coast or the Pacific Northwest, where you're from,
Yeah.
judging from those questions. We have a question from somebody in New York now.
Oh,
This is
nice.
Brian, and I'm kind of curious in your perspective because you still have experience in this organization. He asks, who are the two most exciting players to look out for on the Jumbotron? So I know you're in a different organization now, but maybe from your time in Jacksonville, who are some of those players who you really think could be taking that next step?
I wonder if we're going to have the same answer. I really do. I wonder if we're going to have the same answer. I think guys that I'm really excited for that are going to be in Jacksonville. Robbie Snelling is
Yeah.
fantastic. Not only is he a good golfer, but he's a fantastic pitcher and he's an absolute bulldog on the mound. I think that's really exciting and he's going to have a really bright future because that's one of the things is the Marlins right now have an all righty staff. So they're going to need a lefty to mix in there every once in a while. Robbie might be the guy. The other one is going to be Joe Mack. Joe Mack is on the cusp of becoming an absolute terror in the MLB. He is so close. And I do understand that all the rigmarole, all the attention, all of that really gets the players, but he is so level headed. He is so on brand. He is going to be one of the more successful baseball players in this game. And he's one of the better catchers I've played. I've been spoiled. I've played with so many good catchers. And he's by far, he's up there. He's up there on my top three for sure.
I'm gonna go slightly off the beaten path. I don't think either of
I
these
like
two
it.
guys are like that crazy unknowns, but I do think that maybe you have to be a bigger fan to know who these people are. So, do you have a question you want to come into the
Hi,
you want to come into
Sam.
the podcast? No? Okay.
Daddy,
Mm-hmm. Are you gonna watch it out there?
the game started in.
Ooh.
Let me see. It's 0-0, I think.
Okay, you keep me posted. Thanks, buddy. I thought we
Oh,
had
I love
another
that.
question from a fan in Jacksonville.
Hey, there you go.
So, to me, Josh White, I just love watching him
Ooh,
pitch.
good
His stuff
answer.
is nasty. And he's got that awesome back of the bullpen sort of just attitude that you need. Like off the field, he is such a cool guy, so relaxed. On the field, I just love watching him pitch. So I'm gonna go Josh White as a guy who I think continues to take that next step. And then Kemp Alderman. I don't know if anybody's got more power
Yeah.
in this organization, maybe.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
hmm So he was awesome to watch at the end of last season. Side note, have a family friend who, and I told Kemp this the other day, a family friend, we've known them for a couple decades. Their son was on my brother's baseball team when my brother was little. Um, they now have moved to Florida, and one of their other sons has Down syndrome, and Kemp Alderman made so much time to spend with this young man now after a game that the Marlins played the Nationals in to the point where our family friend texted my dad and I, sent a picture of his son who was Down syndrome with Kemp, and just like for several paragraphs raved about how he didn't have to do that, how that was just an incredible thing that made his son's day absolutely amazing. So I do think Kemp Alderman is an excellent player on the field. And I would say that's something that people don't know. They don't see that. That was after a game. Most of the stands were empty, judging by the picture. And Kemp said it's just the right thing to do. He is somebody in his family who has Down syndrome, and he tries to create special moments and special time. I just thought that was awesome. So I wanted to highlight Kemp, not just from, man, this guy's a great hitter, and I think a really exciting young player. I just think he's a really awesome person as well.
I love it. I love that we picked two different players too.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
I also have to say Joe Mack, Buffalo Bills fan.
Yep. Upstate from upstate. Yep.
Yep. We have one from Ian, who I believe is in Tampa. And he asked to both of us, what are your favorite moments or moment from your time in Major League Baseball, but also minor league baseball?
I would love to talk about Major League Baseball. I know we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah.
I want to hear your favorite Jacksonville moment. I'd love to talk about big leagues easy. It's no, but I know that you have a favorite Jacksonville moment.
Yeah. I mean, how could I say that it's anything different than winning the championship the way we did last year?
Yeah,
That's
that's what
easy.
I thought you were going to say. Yeah.
The non-obvious answer would be Devin Smeltzer's no hitter. I've talked about this
Great.
before.
Yes. The seven inning no
Seven
hitter.
inning, and both he and Santiago Chavez, his catcher that day, who deserves a ton of credit and is an amazing defensive player, someone miscommunicated the time to them. So I don't remember what time that game started. Let's say it was 8:30, but they were told it was going to start at 8:45 or 8:50. They told me this the next day. And so they're like, okay, we got plenty of time. And then someone's like, hey, the game's starting in 5 minutes. You're not ready yet. So they had to rush their warm-ups. And Smeltzer's thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get crushed today because of this. And he throws a no-hitter. I just thought that was awesome. And unexpected. What makes baseball so great to me, and we've talked about this in the past, I know this, is that the unexpected from nowhere, a no-hitter literally comes out of nowhere, is what makes this game great. There's a game every single night, but you don't know what you're going to see. And yes, oftentimes is it a 5-3 game? Is it a 7-6 game where nothing all that crazy happens? But once X amount of time, you get that no-hitter, and that's what's amazing about it.
You never know what you're going to see at a baseball game. You
Yeah.
never know. So I have two, and they're off the field ones. So like yours were like game ones. Mine are like the off the field ones. So I have one of my favorite memories is Jonah Bride will send me this video every once in a while. We were on a team flight to Nashville, Gwinnett, wherever it was, and we told the flight attendants that it was Darren Brown's birthday.
I remember this.
And most flight attendants, I tried to do it on every flight that we did this last year, but most flight attendants were like, hey, we need to see an ID. Like, we can't just be yelling out birthdays. This flight attendant, I said, it's our manager. He's really embarrassed, but we just want to shout him out. We're so happy he's here with us. Just totally playing the part. It wasn't his birthday. And we took a video of him and he tried to ignore it as much as possible. But you also had 35 young, rowdy men yelling 40 from, 36D all the way in the back of the plane. And, Darren just didn't even flinch and didn't even act like it was about him. That was one of my favorite memories. And then the other one has to be, you talk about you got to be part of the national championship. I got to be part of winning the first half.
Yeah.
And we did that in Syracuse, New York. And how much fun those 2 weeks of baseball were. The boys were just gelling. We were playing cards. We were having so much fun. And to be able to sit there and watch, who was it, Lehigh Valley lose on the TV, and we're waiting for the final out, and we're all together. And, it's those kind of moments that you always remember. You never remember, the best game you've ever had in baseball. Like maybe some people do, but for me, it's those little memories that those are my favorite parts of this game and this job.
I have a couple non-Jacksonville ones that I do think are worth mentioning.
Sure.
We had Eloy Jimenez in Myrtle Beach, and I really thought that guy was going to be like a Hall of Fame superstar level player. And it pains me to see how injuries have robbed him, but he was so good. And I remember we were playing in Down East, which is in Kinston, North Carolina, and he was at the peak of his powers. We were about to win the first half title, and he was hitting a home run pretty much every single day, to the point where at batting practice, Troy, I kid you not, he was aiming for the lights to like knock out the lights in the outfield. And so he would take a swing and the ball would go flying like 450 feet and it would miss the lights by, 10 feet. And he would just make that adjustment. And it got to the point where he was just knocking out the lights. And we had this player named Connor Myers who actually is one of my all-time favorite players, but was a gritty defensive base running, stolen base kind of guy, did not hit for a ton of power. And I remember when Aloy knocked out the lights, like Connor Myers just threw his bat and said, "What am I even doing here?" or something like that. Like, what chances a mere mortal have in a game like
Yeah.
that? It's like I
Yeah.
saw Aloy at his best, and so it stinks to see him and how it's turned out, but he's still just a tremendous guy. We got to see him when we played Durham last year, and it
Yeah.
was great seeing the smile on his face. The other would be there was a manager, I don't want to name names, from earlier in my career, and just an awesome guy. I was with Myrtle Beach. He was in the Carolina League. It was a tough go for Myrtle Beach. We'd been really struggling offensively, but we were facing this pitcher who had not been doing very well all season long. And he comes up to me before the game and we're talking and I'm saying like, man, we really need to get our offense going. He's like, well, today's the day. Like our pitcher sucks. And I'm like, I don't know. Like we haven't scored a run in 2 consecutive games. And he said, if you don't knock out my pitcher with the third inning, then you suck. And this pitcher went out and he threw 6 innings of like 1 or 2 run ball. So we did not
Wow.
hit him very well.
Wow. Okay.
Troy, last question. They're actually 2 questions, but I'm going to combine them, and they're both from fans in Jacksonville. Ron Burnell, 520. He asked, I guess his son Ryan asked, where is your least favorite and most favorite ballparks and why? And then Mr. Duval asked, what is your favorite spot in the whole stadium? I'm presuming he means in Jacksonville's ViStar ballpark.
So tell me if I'm choppy right here.
You're good.
Am I okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So my favorite big league ballpark is Boston, just because it's historic. It was, where I hit my first home run. There's a lot of things I like about Boston, even the hotel and the city. I really enjoyed the Rangers. Their hotel was great. The atmosphere there, the people, I loved it. Even just playing at that stadium, because I, of course, went to the other stadium as a kid. So it was cool playing in the new one. And then my final is the New York Mets, which I think is just it was such a cool experience and so cool. The way fans showed up, the way it was. I know it's just it was very, very cool. But I would say my top three minor league parks, I really enjoyed Jacksonville. Really, really enjoyed Jacksonville. The way, especially after they moved the fences in and the new addition, looks so good. My second favorite would have to be Charlotte just because it's good hitting. You're in the city, there's lots of things to do. And then my final is probably going to be, which I know some people may take offense to this because it's also in Florida, but Pensacola is just unbelievable. The fans show up every single game, it's always packed, and you're just right there by the beach. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've heard Pensacola is great. I don't think anyone should take offense to that because they're also my play. They're
Yep.
friends in
Yep.
Pensacola. Major League, I'm gonna give you a long list. I apologize. I just have a few. Shea Stadium, it was not a nice ballpark, but it was sentimental. It's a sentimental pick. It's where I saw my first Major League game. It's where I seemingly walked up the miles of ramps to get to the upper deck with my dad and brothers and mom and sister, seemingly thousands of times. I remember the energy of that place vividly, and it was an awesome place to watch a game. It wasn't awesome because of the amenities. It was awesome because the atmosphere was great. Wrigley Field, self-explanatory. It was like you're in a dream the first time you go there. The others are more career oriented. Miami's Lone Depot Park, it's where I did my major league debut. For obvious reasons, that meant a lot to me, but it's a really cool park, and I didn't expect how cool it was going to be. PNC Park is where I did my first major league road game. Not only that, the ballpark is incredible. That place, you could easily make the case is the best in the major leagues. The skyline right there, the attention to detail, even outside the ballpark, the statues, and if you're walking along the waterfront, there's all these huge baseballs, and it has every single Pittsburgh Hall of Famer's autograph from Roberto Clemente to Josh Gibson, like even Negro Leagues guys. Very, very cool. Baltimore, where I seemingly bought $25 tickets a year, student tickets at the University of Maryland to go to games with my friends. Also an amazing ballpark with the warehouse and the little medallions on Utah Street
Yep.
where everyone's hit the home runs. It's a great place to watch a game. And then in the minor leagues, like this place is awesome. But we have, again, as I mentioned at the top of the episode, we've got cosmic baseball going on right now. And to see this place packed with the renovations finally done after all these years, like this is the last stage, Troy, where they moved the bullpens to left field, and it feels like
Oh
a
yeah.
miniature. It feels like it just feels like an amazing miniature Major League Park. It's awesome. It's
Nice.
so cool, and I can't wait for opening day. So this place is awesome. My favorite spot in this ballpark, I know Mr. Duval asked that, has got to be the broadcast booth. I've just have spent a lot of time here. It's kind of become like a man cave because this is all the stuff behind me that my wife doesn't want in her house. Bobbleheads, baseballs. This is our broadcast partners, Matt.
Yeah.
Like my side is like this side, like over my left shoulder. And the view is great. This has been a lot of really great memories in here. Not just watching people like you play, but also the people I've worked with, our interns, our other broadcasters, our assistants, people of that nature have been incredible to work with. And if I go other places in minor league baseball, Charlotte, as you said, the skyline is incredible. It feels like you're in a Lego set. You can reach out and like touch these buildings. And then I love going to Durham. Honestly, the atmosphere is incredible there almost every single night. And I feed off that juice, even if technically it is against the team I'm working for and the team I want to
Yeah.
win. All right. That's going to do it for us. I thank you. These questions were awesome. So thank you guys so much for submitting your questions. We'll have to do this again very, very soon, probably like a month or two into the season. But this was really, really cool.
Again, I can't thank you guys enough for, listening, following along, and even submitting questions so we have something to talk about and you have something to learn from it. This is why we do this, is so that we can get into the nitty-gritty, the stories, what we like about this business, this baseball, what do we don't like, all these kind of things. It really, it scratches the itch for us of actually talking about what we think baseball should be and kind of how it revolves around our lives. So thank you guys so much for these awesome questions. We'd love to hear them. Even if we don't have a mailbag question, we'll probably get back to you if you do have a question. So we
Actually, I
love it.
have
We
one
may
more.
even
I
talk
forgot
about
this
it based
one. I
on.
missed this, if that's okay,
Oh
Troy.
yeah, let's do it.
It's a quick one. Jeremy in Puyallup, Washington said, who in
Yeah.
Troy's family has the best mustache?
If anybody wants to know, Jeremy from Puyallup, that's my younger brother. I do not currently have a mustache. He does. So, he wins this round, but come June when I grow out my mustache again, I'll be coming for the crown. So, as of right now, he definitely has the better mustache, but which is funny because that's actually my fantasy football name is Better Mustache Than Jeremy.
Oh, wow. So this comes from a
Yeah.
place of competitiveness, like two brothers should
Yes.
always be.
Correct. Exactly. That's how it always should be. But guys, thank you so much for listening. We love having the mailbag episodes. Keep shooting us questions. Keep listening. We love all the support that you guys have given us, and hopefully we can teach you guys and talk the game of baseball best we can. You can catch us wherever you get your podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify. Check us out on YouTube. Make sure to like and subscribe. We love all the follows. We love seeing you guys, and thank you again for listening and being a part of this journey with us. And this has been Turn Two with Scott and Troy.
Talk to you soon. All right. Amazing. So